I don't know if you guys are noticing the same thing that I am, but every single time that I go on YouTube nowadays, I'm seeing content about broken Britain and why the UK right now is a country in massive decline. The truth about the UK right now is we are facing some big social issues, and I've made my fair share of videos speaking about this. I feel like a great privilege that we have in the UK is the ability to discuss these things openly. However, last week I made a video speaking about the fact that a lot of people are wrong in their assumption of broken Britain, and I spoke about a lot of the great opportunities and privileges that we have in this country today. I'm not saying that now, 2025, is the best time ever to have lived in Britain. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that there are still a lot of great chances. And I found it really entertaining because, like I say, 50, maybe more of the percentage of comments were speaking about how I'm wrong, speaking about how I don't understand how there's no chances anymore. And I find this a completely wild concept because, as I say, I am not the kind of person who is going to overlook any or all of the issues that we're facing right now. But I'm also going to keep realistic. I'm not going to act like it's the worst country to live in, like a lot of people make out. If it was, why do so many people basically risk everything every year to come here? It wouldn't make sense. So I just wanted to highlight some very realistic facts, but it brought up a big point to me. I'm not going to say that most of the problems that we have in the UK are not from the top down, because they are. Government, right? Bad management over the last 20 years, maybe even more time than that, arguably even going back to the 80s, maybe even before that. But I'm not going to also sit here and say that there are not still chances here. So we can acknowledge who's to blame, the government, for most of the problems. At the same time though, there are still advantages of living in the UK. So many people though liked to make out in the comments of my last video how wrong I am and how I should think in a different way. And the more and more people that you speak to in the UK about the UK, this is a concept in their heads. Now, going back to the point that I just mentioned, most of the problems that we have here are from the government. But we now have a population where, I'm not going to say the majority, but a large amount of people think that their country's broken, think that there's no chances for them. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong. The result of this, though, is a very demotivated, at the very least, group of the population, right? A very demotivated, perhaps population as a whole. And this is arguably one of the issues as to why the country's so broken and why people think the country's so broken. The government have messed the country up in a lot of ways. And it is in a lot of ways harder or worse than it may have even been 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Just look at inflation, for example, right? Look at how little your money is worth compared to what it was 5 years ago. So I can acknowledge that these things are true. The jobs market is terrible, right? In a lot of ways. At the same time, though, there are a lot of great opportunities. But in our young people, in our older people as well, we have an attitude now which is so along the lines of, we can't do anything. Nothing can be done. There's no opportunities for us. We're not going to take chances. And anybody who seems to have a very positive attitude towards the UK, like I tried to kind of outline in my last video, you get a lot of backlash, right? A lot of backlash. People give scenarios or specific situations, and I'm not going to dismiss them. They are true, right? A lot of them are completely true. But why do we want, and why do we encourage ourselves and each other to have a mentality that beats down and bashes the country that we live in? Say what you want about anything else, but that's never going to make sense to me. Now, of course, there are going to be some people who are going to find better lives abroad, just like there are some people who come here to find better lives in the UK. That's the reality of the world. It has been for a while now, probably even longer than that. But for the majority of people, it's been a lot more of an option, in the last 30, 40, 50 years. Anyway, going back to the majority point, right? Or my main point for this video. So many people get beat down when they try and express a positive or happy view of their country. Say what you want about it. I was born in the UK, right? So I speak English. This is a culture that I am assimilated to. It's where I was born, obviously. So naturally, I want to do well in the UK. It's the country where I feel at home. It's the country that I respect. It's a country that I grew up in. I could, in theory, especially with the online business that I run, move abroad, right? At some point, I may even do that. I wouldn't be necessarily against the idea. But why would I not try and achieve success in my country of birth, right? But we have so many people now who have this idea that the UK, they can't do anything. There's no jobs, there's no opportunities, you can't start a business, this, that, all of these problems. And I'm not saying it's not hard, because it is. But what I'm saying is this. We're creating here a population which is, I don't understand it, basically against, in some ways, the country that they live in. That to me doesn't make sense. I've said this before, for a lot of people, if they can't do well in their home country, not all people, of course, but if they can't do well in their home country, and it's a rich country, like the UK, or the US, or Canada, do they really think that they'll do better in a country where they don't understand the language, don't understand the law, the tax rules, business rules? It's going to be a lot more of a challenge. So going back to my point for today's video, I try and speak as positively as I can about opportunities in the UK for work, for skills, for education, for young people, for old people, especially for young people, because I'm a young person, right? I like to speak to an audience that I can relate to. So I try and speak positively about my country of birth. I try and see opportunities every day in my country of birth. And when I look around, I see problems. But I see a lot of chances. And a consequence of that is I'm more likely to take chances, which means that I might get better jobs, I might get better pay, I might start that business, it could go on, right? When you have pride in your environment, your area, you're more willing to take part, you're more willing to help, clean up, contribute, all of these different things. Why are we sort of portraying a culture now, or for so many people from all the videos that I'm seeing on YouTube, an attitude that there's no point in caring about the UK, right? A lot of you guys will also be born in the UK, whether you're first generation, second generation, Anglo-Saxon, white British, whatever you want to call yourself, right? So I know a lot of you guys who watch my videos are born in the UK, right? So that means it's your country of birth. And like I say, this is going to be in a lot of ways a great country which is going to provide you with unique opportunities. We've created a culture though which is so about, and I don't want to kind of repeat my words, but we've created a culture now which is so about, oh, the UK's bad, UK this, UK economy downhill, no. And then I go on to create a video where I speak about there's cheap houses in this area, or there's jobs in this field, or there's education opportunities here, or you can start a business in this way and do this. And all I get in the comments is, no. It was better in the 80s. It was better in the 90s. There's better opportunities in Thailand. There's better opportunities in New York. Well, in some ways, all of those things are true. I'm not going to say that they're not. I'm not going to deny the truth. I'm not going to deny obvious facts. For some people with a unique set of skills, there will be much better opportunities in Thailand, or China, or Africa, or anywhere in the world, right? In some ways, the culture was better, stronger in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I'm not going to deny that. At the same time, I am somebody who is turning 21, 22 actually, in 2025. Do you want me as a young person, and this is just a general question that I have for our society at the minute, for my fellow people as a whole, because I'm seeing a lot of this about, oh, the UK this. So I come out with a positive opinion on the UK, a positive video speaking about all of the opportunities that I have had, I'm lucky enough to access, and I get nothing but, this is wrong, that's wrong, this can't happen, for whatever reason. Right? So as somebody who's UK born, UK English speaking, right, understands UK culture, works, tries to build skills, all these different things, why would you like me to not appreciate where I live, right? Would you not like me to try hard? And I feel like, as a point, this is so much of the message that is put on us now. And I don't know how to kind of explain it. It's like, I don't live in 2010. I don't live in 2001. I don't live in 1987. I don't live in 1965. So would you rather I tried to do my best in 2025, right? Tried to contribute to society, tried to pay taxes, tried to build my best self, or would you rather a generation of people who look back thinking about how great the 60s was, right? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all. I'm a big believer in the concept of self-improvement. So if there are going to be better opportunities in Dubai, right? I know people who've gone out to be salespeople in Dubai and they were making, or are making, more money than they ever could in the UK. Great! If you've got a good skill set for that, go and do it. That's a perfect opportunity. So, yeah, perfect example. I know people who make maybe half the money, but they're happy to be a teacher in Thailand. Fantastic. So, of course, there's going to be certain scenarios. But a lot of people don't want to move. A lot of people don't see the opportunity of moving. A lot of people don't have the skills to move. So, if that is where you are, why do we profess this message that the UK is not going to do well, or you can't do well in the UK? Because all that's going to lead to is a group of people, or a population as a whole, who does not want to try, who does not try, who will not succeed, or will not have as many chances as they could have otherwise had. Not due to the society, perhaps, maybe a little bit, but mainly due to the fact that they haven't tried, because they didn't think it was worth it. I'm not saying we don't have challenges. Of course we do. But what do we want to achieve here? What do we actually want to achieve here? Do we want to have a population who doesn't think that they can do well, so won't apply for jobs, won't help to build companies, won't build businesses, won't buy houses or try to buy houses, won't start families, then we really have a country in decline? Is that the plan? Is that the goal? Why do we want to not even demoralize, demotivate each other in such a way? Why is it that when we have somebody who goes against the trend of the hundreds, maybe thousands of videos here on YouTube, which are speaking about how bad the UK is, why is it when we have somebody who goes against it and says, hey guys, I'm not saying it's perfect, but you can still do this, you can still do that, you can still do this, that person gets basically treated like an idiot, right? Why? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong for this, maybe I'm just going on a big video rant. I've spoken about this subject so many times about, the UK, good things about it, bad things about it, and it's a video topic that I don't really want to speak about all too much anymore. But the thing is, every single time that I make a video on it, I get a response or a backlash or a comment, which basically makes me need to make another video clearing up the last video. I'm not saying that the UK's not got problems, of course it does, but you're going to need to watch a lot of my other videos on the UK where I speak about it. Perhaps even the last one that I filmed. What is the alternative solution for a lot of people who don't have skills, don't have an income or a remote income, and don't have money, basically? Would you rather then just live in a country that you think's terrible, or wouldn't you want to take advantage of the opportunities around you?